Hey, Let Me Get a Farmers. Today we're actually going to be working on a little project. That's why I'm in the house, not out in the barnyard today. We are going to be making this awesome Pinterest idea that I saw on one of my pages. It is a goat feeder, not for food. Goats need, as you know, I'm getting some miniature or dwarf goats that are coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And they have a couple different needs. So the breeder has told me that they need a supply of some sodium bicarbonate, so baking soda, and also some goat minerals that they always need free choice, which means they can access it whenever they want. So goats are really mischievous. They like to get into things. They like to jump on their feeders and then they end up pooping in it. Farm problems. So I am making up these little feeders that will hold the supplements that they need. We're going to cut off the end so they can access it, and it can be hung up in the barnyard or in their area where they're staying so that they have access to those free choice whenever they need them. So we're going to get started today. I picked up some supplies from our local supply store, hardware store. It is all PVC related. I have it all laid out there, you can see. We are going to be using, so I picked up a couple things. I picked up one 90-degree angle. I have also picked up a 45-degree angle, so a little bit shorter in comparison. I have one of these caps that actually have, if you look inside them, if you can see, it's got some screw marks there so that we can actually take a lid and screw it in. So this is going to be for the top so that we can access it and refill it. And then I have found these caps for over the end. Now, they were suggesting in the Pinterest post that I saw that you continue to use the regular white PVC for these caps. However, as you can imagine, this stuff is really hard. It would be really hard to cut through it to cut the part off where the little goats are going to eat out of. So I figured when I found these orange ones, I was like, yay, that's exciting because these are nice and soft and squishy, which means they're going to be easier for me to cut and I don't need to enlist the help of my grown children or my husband. I can do this job myself. Nobody wants to participate in my farm crafts. And I am going to make this all up. So here's a good look at all the supplies that you're gonna need here. Oh, and this last thing, special glue, it's PVC glue. I'm gonna make sure that I glue it together. It fits pretty tightly together, but I wanna make sure I glue it so it doesn't come undone. So let's get started. All right, here we are ready to craft. I mentioned that I got all the parts that we needed from our local hardware store. I think each one cost me about $30 to $35 for everything that I needed. Would probably be a little bit less because once you buy the glue, you don't need to buy another one. So it was really tight. I had to get my son to open this with channel locks. I don't even know what channel locks are, but he said that's what he needed to use. So I am going to go ahead. So this is the 90-degree piece. We are going to be putting the one with the screws inside the top of it. So we're going to do that piece first. I didn't read the label, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting older, my eyes aren't as great, and I couldn't read this ridiculous small print of how to do it, but I'm assuming it's gonna be more like a contact glue or any other glue you'd use for plastics and things like that. It comes with a little bit of a dabber here. I'm gonna actually just put a very thin coat on here because I think that's all it's gonna need. It's really strong smelling. My dogs are gonna be intoxicated here, high on life once I'm done with this. Ugh, it's really smelly, but I think it's like contact cement stuff. Anyways, as you can see, I'm just really putting, if I pass out here, somebody call 911. I'm just gonna put a little bit on here, whew, and I'm gonna tuck this in, right in here like that. Just give it a good squeeze down together before it bonds. I'm not sure how strong I am, but let's see if we can get it down there before it sticks. Not as successful as I'd like, a little bit sticking up, but that's not bad. All right, let's move on to the second piece. Okay, so what did I learn from piece one insertion? I learned that I need to be quicker because I couldn't get it in the whole way. And I've learned that this stuff is pretty smelly and I really need to hold my breath. So I'm gonna just leave this upside down here to dry. The next piece we're gonna do is the 45-degree angle. You'll see that this piece here has both sides that are the same. So it's gonna go on like this. And I think I'm gonna need a good shove once I get it in there. But we're gonna pop this on just like this and we're gonna try and be fast about it. Let's see, hold your breath, everyone. Okay, opening up the glue. It does say you should use in a well-ventilated area. Maybe my kitchen isn't so great for this, but Watch this. We're going to be amazing and fast. Fast, 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 fast. Speedy. Whew. Hold your breath. Not so great. Okay. Sliding this one on. Ooh, much better results. Went in the whole way. You can see just a little bit of the gray where the seam is. All right. So the cool thing is we're going to let this one dry and make sure it's sealed up properly. I'm just making sure there's nothing on the inside. I suppose you could always put the glue on the piece that it's being inserted into. The reason I didn't do that is I didn't want it dripping into here. I will wash this before I put, of course, the supplements in here, but I chose to do it this way so that it's nice and hard. With this piece here at the screw, we're going to just screw in the end. So this is going to be the top. And I am going to go ahead and try and cut this to put on the bottom. I'm back. I almost passed out from that smell. It's really stinky. But anyways, so what I've done is I've taken the PVC capping that they have. Remember I said I got the flexible one, not the white one. I think that would involve a lot of hand saws or some other tools. These are the tools I have, scissors. So what I did is I took a ruler, I kind of made it just above the halfway mark. I'm not sure how small or large these little goats' mouths are going to be. So I erred on the side of caution, went a little bit above center so that I could always make it bigger if I needed to, but didn't have to worry if they couldn't fit. So we're going to attempt to cut this, and I'm not sure just how easy or hard this is going to be. Maybe I need to use my pig toenail clippers or something, some other tool in my barnyard to cut this, because it's really hard to cut. It's starting to go through there, you can see just a little bit. I'm not sure how successful. I may have to get another pair of scissors, but I'm going to work away on this and trying to cut this, and I'll let you know if I end up getting my pig scissors, but I think that's what it's going to take. Probably an X-Acto would work here too, as well, and then we'll go ahead and get this fitted onto the end. While I'm also doing that, I'm going to go ahead and prep and do the second one, because I did get two, one for the baking soda, one for the minerals. I'm probably thinking now that maybe I should have gotten a couple more of these set up. I'll see how these ones work. My plan is when these little sweet goats come home, Andy and Jade, I'm going to be putting them into my barnyard predominantly. I'm also having an area built hopefully on Paul's side of the creek. That's my husband's side of the creek. We have a huge coniferous tree with an area underneath, and I've somewhat convinced him, not quite yet, somewhat convinced him that we can get fencing around that big area in our backyard for the goats under our big tree so that he doesn't have to weed it. Hopefully my goats will weed it for him. So that's the only thing that's letting him think about putting animals on his side of the creek. For anybody that doesn't know us too well yet, my husband is a city guy. He's not an animal lover like I am. So we have a nice little creek that runs through our property, and I've tried to keep all my menagerie on the other side of the creek so that his lovely green manicured lawn and nice looking house side of the creek doesn't get littered with animals. But I think the goats might be coming this way to be able to spend part of their day. My thought was, it's a tree. I've bought them a goat swing, so I'm going to be hanging the goat swing. Hats off to Costco. It was a platform swing. It's going to be amazing. It was like $30. Convinced my husband to buy that as well. And we are going to put a little house there. And my thoughts are sometime during the day, if it's not majorly raining or anything like that, they can walk across with me back to the house and go into that area. We'll add a bit of entertainment too for us to watch from the house. And they can spend some time there. They don't love to get wet, and that place should be out of the cold and the rain and the snow. They'll have a little house, but it's really thick, and underneath doesn't see much growth of things, and definitely usually stays dry. We don't get snow underneath that tree in the winter, so I think it's going to be a good place for them. But we'll get into that later. I'm going to go and get this cut for us. See you in a bit. All right, we got it cut. I actually just changed scissors. This was fine enough to cut through this. Cool thing about it, after cutting this, I realized I was going to take some sandpaper to this area if I needed to. Nice thing is I don't need to. I've tested on the inside of my skin. It's leaving no scratches, no marks. It's kind of nice. It is really soft, so you could probably take even a lighter or some heat to it if you wanted to round it, but it's cut it. The second ingenious thing I realized is I'd cut this pretty much in half, a little bit close. One's a little bit shorter than the other, but not by much. Instead of going and cutting a second one, I'm actually going to leave the second one intact so I can make maybe a couple more of these, and this should do for both my feeders. So that's going to be amazing. Here we move on back to the smelly stuff. I don't usually mind smells, so this is kind of weird. All right, let's put some of this on here. I don't think it's going to need too much. On with that. And I'm just gonna line this up here so if you can see. I want it to be kind of straight this way. So when we fill it up, the goats can kind of get their mouth in. My thoughts are if I need to take it off, I can. I'm just gonna see if this sticks because I don't have a clamp on it. If I need to cut this out more to make it lower so that the goats can their noses aren't as big, I can always cut this down a little bit. And I might actually do that and make just a tiny little divot in here so it's easier for them to access it. So let's see how long this actually takes to hold. All right, that looks like it's sticking there now. All right, I'm going to let this sit here, and I think I am going to see if I can finish off the other one for you, and we'll take a look and see how they look. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so we're back. So if you remember, I had said that I was gonna try and use this other unused half for the second one, which I've now glued together, to put over top. Then, while I was doing that, I was coming up with some crazy ideas in my head. My brain doesn't tend to stop. It's a good but bad thing. I thought, what if I took the cap and I left the exterior circumference intact so that it would fit on the end, instead of just cutting the entire thing in half and having to glue it. Because here's what I thought about. Well, if I have to make it bigger for the goats as they grow, I'll have to kind of be tricky to cut while it's on there. I'll have to take it off or get a new one. So I decided to take the second piece. I've left the whole perimeter of it intact, and I've just taken off this. And what I thought about is it actually stays on now. I'm hoping that my goats can't get this off. It's pretty tight. It takes like your fingernails underneath there. If I find that they do, I'm thinking I can always put a nice thick rubber band around here maybe to help it, or if I have to, I guess I will glue it. But I'm gonna try this technique for the second one to see how it works. So there you have it, everyone. I've got some mineral feeders ready to go. So basically what I'm gonna do is I have some metal strapping. I'm gonna take it to the fence that's gonna be here, and I'm going to actually just strap on some metal strapping right around the neck of it here, and that's gonna hold it on. I won't need to move it or anything like that because I can just unscrew the top to go ahead and fill it up or add more minerals or sodium bicarbonate. And I am going to also, if I need to clean it, I can just, hose it out or whatever I have to do. I can take this cap off now, which is nice. And the other good thing about having the screw-on cap is if it is outside on the edge of one of their outside huts, they'll be able to basically, I don't have to worry about rain or things like that because these are meant for water. It actually seals down quite nice and tight. So I don't have to worry about moisture getting in with the sodium bicarbonate, them having a little, some type of volcano happening inside here, adding moisture to that, but it is perfect. So we are ready and getting set up for good old, not old, they're young, little Andy and Jade that are going to be coming here. Oops, sorry, I just dropped a ruler on one of my poodles. If anybody doesn't know, we came up with the names. We were playing around with a few things. My husband loves food, so I was thinking of sage and rosemary and all those kinds of names, the parsley. But I have a son and a daughter. Of course, they're siblings, and named Maverick and Savannah, and their middle names are Andrew and Jade. So we are taking their middle names, Jade, and instead of Andrew, we're going to use Andy because I thought that kind of suited a dwarf goat. And we have Jade and Andy coming with us maybe the middle of August. So just getting things ready and underway, fill you in on our progress, and of course the day that we get them, that'll be an exciting day. But thanks for choosing to watch, and I hope that you too can make one of these awesome goat mineral feeders for yourself. Go ahead and do it. If I can do it, anybody can. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.